Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Spoke Economist here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how I personally protect my cards. This video is purely based on my own personal preferences. I don't think there's necessarily a right way or a wrong way to do this. What I would say is that some ways are better than others. This way I'm fairly confident is the best way that I know at least to ensure that your cards stay in the best way possible. So what I'm going to do today is have a look at one particular card that I may or may not have pulled in an upcoming opening video. You're just going to have to wait and see on that one. And we're going to have a look at how I protected it and my thoughts on all the different options that are available to you. Before we get started, what I would like to say is this here is a top loader, underneath is a penny sleeve, and this is a flag. Getting hold of each of these components right now isn't particularly easy with the amount of people that are after them. Obviously for grading, sending their old stuff away, sending some of their new stuff away, it's not particularly easy to get hold of these. If you don't manage to do this or get the items that I'm mentioning, don't worry, a standard deck protector is okay. I'll show you an example of that a little bit later on, but for the most part I would try to go down this route, especially if you're looking for grading or if you're trying to keep the card in the best condition it possibly can be in. Obviously if you're playing a Pokemon card game in a competitive manner or even just in a casual sort of deck sense, then these aren't going to work. Simple as that. You can't really put 40 or 60 of these together and then shuffle. Nah, it's never going to work. So deck protector is probably your best option for that sort of sense. This is more a collector's idea. If you're going down the collection route, you want to preserve your collection, keep it in the best way possible, I'd certainly recommend this way. So I'll start off at the very beginning. What we've got here is a standard penny sleeve. This one is actually a perfect fit sleeve that randomly came in a standard penny sleeve pack, but it's the same idea as a penny sleeve. The only difference is this fits a little tighter to the card. So as you can see, there's not much of a border around it. It pretty much hugs the card, which makes it a little more difficult to get in, but it also means there isn't a little more give. So if I take one standard penny sleeve, so we'll take this Blaziken here, and you'll notice how there's just that slight bit of extra plastic on the side. It's not much, but it can kind of just bend over the card. With this Charizard here in a perfect fit sleeve, that does not do that. It literally hugs the card as much as possible. Whereas here, there's just a little bit of give. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? For me, it has its pros, it has its cons. The good thing about it is I find it a lot easier to actually fit in the penny sleeve. Open the penny sleeve, tuck the card at the side, boom, and we go. You can kind of feel, you can kind of hear when the card's been clambered against the penny sleeve or when any damage is going to happen. So I just kind of do it slowly at first, make sure you're doing it and protecting the card at the same time. This can be a lot more challenging to insert. Getting the card into the penny sleeve can be a little more difficult with these things, more chance of damaging it in the way in. But on the flip side, when you get it in the penny sleeve, it is a lot more protected. So these are just like a hard, firm plastic that goes over the card. This will prevent more of the scratching, surface damage. This is going to do most of the work here, protecting the card. So this really is just a thin bit of plastic. There's really not much to it. You can kind of see how thin that is there. This, on the other hand, a lot flexible, but a lot firmer. Should you, scratch it against a table surface or something, that's not going to do much damage to this. This will take the brunt of the damage. And this here is just what I call a flag. Don't know if that's a technical name for it. It's literally just a little bit of tape on the bottom half of this, and it's just standard at the top. Because if you didn't have this here, and you put the sleeve in the top loader, you're then having to kind of open the top loader from the top, bend it a little bit to try to get the sleeve out. More chance of the card getting damaged. So if you are using top loaders, I highly recommend using these. One final step that I would take, especially if it is a grade worthy card, these things here, which are called team bags. So again, similar idea to the penny sleeve. So this is just another sleeve essentially, and what it's actually going to do is stop dirt getting in to the bottom bit here. Some of these top loaders I find get dirty very easily. What you'll often find people do is actually putting tape over the bottom here. I personally really don't like that because the elastic gets stuck all the way here, which then in time, as you're pulling the card out, is going to get elastic on the penny sleeve worst case scenario, get on the card itself. You know, it's not a great thing to do. So what I prefer to use is these team bags. If I insert this card like here, there's a little pull off tab here. So if I pull this off, whoops, and then I fold this bit over, and then all of a sudden the card is completely secure. The other great thing about these is at the side, similar to a penny sleeve idea, there's a little bit extra space. I'll use this tin lid for an example. If this is in a tin and it's moving about, this extra plastic is going to take the hit. The actual top loader itself is less likely to be damaged. So for me, I think these team bags are definitely a good idea. You know, if you are a collector, if you're looking to protect your cards as good as possible. And the good news is that these haven't went up too much, so these are still fairly affordable, or at least they were when I bought mine. So, you know, you're not talking an awful lot of money to get these team bags. I usually get them in the pack of about 100 of them at a time. So they're fairly cheap. Penny sleeves, as you can probably tell by the name, dirt cheap. I wouldn't pay more than £1 for about 100 of them. So yeah, essentially a penny for each of them. In the US, probably about similar, maybe $1 or whatnot for a pack of 100. So this is my way of protecting my cards. You can also go down the deck protector route. This here is a deck protector. It's a Nintendo Mario deck protector. Again, similar kind of idea to a penny sleeve, apart from it, on the flip side, this is a lot thicker, so this material here is a lot more sturdy, and even on the front side actually, to be fair, the plastic again is a little bit thicker than a penny sleeve, so this is going to protect your card a lot better. The issue I have with these, especially over time, this one's not too bad, but there does tend to be a slight bit of a bend, so over time these cards will bend. Warping, as it's more commonly known, isn't too bad in cards. It can be undone, so it's not major, you know, it's not worst case scenario, but as much as possible, you know, I would kind of look to try to avoid that. What I would say though is if you're displaying your cards in a folder, these aren't too bad, because I use these myself for folders. So if I've got a card in a folder, I know that the card is going to be face down, you know, it's going to have something pressed against it essentially, then I wouldn't shy away from using a deck protector. There's absolutely nothing wrong from them. They do a great job. They actually do better than standard penny sleeves on their own. But for me, you know, if a card is super valuable, if it's one that I really want to protect, or if it's one that, you know, I'm considering sending away for grading, this is definitely the route I would take. As I say, this is all, you know, based on my personal experience, you know, doing certain things, regretting doing certain things, finding other things work for me. You yourself might prefer to use deck protectors, or, you know, team bags might not be a necessity for you. You might think that's just over the top. You might prefer just regular penny sleeves. Again, nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to show you basically what I do, steps that I've taken. You know, it's going to take a lot to damage this essentially. You know, you would really have to, you know, put some effort in to get damage onto this as it is. It could probably be bended, you know, but again, it's going to need a good bit of force. A simple dropping it on the table like that, it's not going to do any damage to it. You're not going to be able to do this for every single one of these commons. That's just, I wouldn't even consider that a good idea. I would never suggest anyone ever does that. But if you have some special cards, you have some cards that mean a lot to you, cards you want to protect, this for me is the way to go. One other method that we haven't mentioned yet is semi-rigids. PSA do prefer semi-rigid. These are similar to a top loader idea, however they are a lot more flexible. They're easier to get the card in and get the card out. Although I would say that having a flag on a top loader kind of makes it a lot easier. You've also got the team bag element to protect against any dirt or whatever that will get in the bottom of the top loader. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. This has been a very short video on how I look to protect my cards, the steps that I take to do that. If you have any thoughts on my video, if you have any other suggestions or ways you protect your cards that you think are better than these, please do let me know. I'm always up for suggestions, feedback in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. These here will be given away in our next pack opening video, so please stay tuned for that. That'll be coming up very soon. This Charizard might or might not make an appearance in that video. So thanks again for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate the support. If you could leave a like in this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. Comment down below, or even subscribe if you're as addicted to Pokemon as I am. So thanks again for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon.